fought the Avengers. See about CBR say about this and check this out.
The Avengers roster always has room for more. Have you ever wondered what would happen in the MCU if the one and only Deadpool joined the team? Well, he probably draws his sword and makes it R-rated right away. Let's take a look and see what would happen if Deadpool fought the Avengers. There's an insanely large MCU roster of heroes at this point, and a lot of Avengers would fight Deadpool in similar ways. So let's break them up into categories, starting with what I call finesse. You may know this category as, yeah, they can jump around, kick, maybe shoot stuff, but if the Hulk ever punched them, they're probably one and done. This includes some of the best fighters like Yelena, Hawkeye, or Shang-Chi. Sure, they're all accompanied by weapons, but when it comes right down to it, you'll often find them using their fists. The fact of the matter is that even without his mutant abilities, Deadpool is one of the best hand-to-hand fighters in the universe. He could definitely beat the likes of people like Sam Wilson, both Hawkeyes and Yelena. He may have some difficulty with the likes of Taskmaster, Daredevil, and Gamora, and would almost definitely lose a Kumite if it included Shang-Chi.
Kumite.
If you take all the powers and weapons away, Deadpool is ranked pretty highly among fighters. Then obviously you have to add those powers and weapons back in. Deadpool's healing factor would allow him to defeat any precision fighter of the MCU. Any super spy, master archer, or blind butt kicker can punch or try to assassinate Wade Wilson all they want, and it won't matter because he almost instantly heals. They could cut his head off, and a severed hand will still find its way to it just so he can look at the camera and shush the audience in a post-credit scene of a movie so bad it never led to anything besides a run-on joke in a much more successful franchise. Sorry, 2009 really sucked for me. Some of these fighters do have powerful weapons. Sam's new Captain America getup or Hawkeye's trick arrows could definitely do some damage to the Merc. But do you think Shang-Chi's newest toys would make a difference? Based on what we've seen the Ten Rings do, I don't see why Deadpool wouldn't be able to heal from their attacks. But I also think we've only scratched the surface. Who knows, maybe Shang-Chi holds the 10 keys to sewing Wade Wilson's mouth shut for good.
Stryker finally figured out how to shut you up.
All in all, I think if Deadpool went toe-to-toe with the greatest fighters in the MCU, he would not only hold his own, but you know he's bouncing back from anything they can dish out. However, if finesse can't get the job done, perhaps bigger muscles or a bigger brain is what it would take. From super soldiers to gamma-irradiated monsters, and even certain gods who would fall under the category of brute strength, Deadpool's tactics here would be a bit different. First, there's the obvious one. How do you think Deadpool fares against the Hulk? Well, truthfully, there's already a pretty comparable matchup out there. In Deadpool 2, Wade Wilson goes toe-to-toe with the Juggernaut, a being of equal size and strength to some of the best the MCU has to offer. It took only 2 seconds for the Juggernaut to rip Deadpool completely in half. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd probably tap out of the fight at that point. Deadpool, however, regrows his entire lower half, begging several different questions, but only one that really matters. Did Deadpool's missing lower half regrow its torso and head as well? Are there two Deadpools running around? Regardless, neither of them could probably fare well against the brute strength of the MCU. The Hulk would likely tear Deadpool in half again and again. He would just have to keep doing it every couple days or so. The same goes for Captain Marvel. Even though she may pack a harder punch and be a little more even-tempered, I think Deadpool bounces back. Granted, when Wade faced the Juggernaut, he was fangirling out a little bit and would probably be more focused since he's a much less big a fan of the Hulk. Super soldiers are another story. Seeing as technically speaking, Deadpool's one too. He could maybe hold his own against the likes of John Walker, the Red Guardian, and Bucky, and eventually get lucky and take them out. But overall, their strength outweighs his. People like Bucky also probably match skill level with Wade Wilson in terms of weapons proficiency. I don't think Deadpool's swords are busting through a metal arm or vibranium shield anytime soon. There's also people whose weapons could put them on the level of a super soldier, such as the famed armored heroes. War Machine is probably the shining remaining example in the MCU. Colonel Rhodes is definitely a smart guy, but you would have to classify his War Machine armor under the brute strength category. Unfortunately, it's to no avail. We've seen Wade purposely blow himself to pieces and still live to fight another day. However, one tougher class of being that Deadpool could fight would be the gods of the MCU. We're talking about Thor, Valkyrie, and the newly introduced Hercules. These are normal-looking people with the strength of beings like the Hulk, and weapons that could spell a little more trouble for the Merc with a mouth. However, even with the might of Mjolnir, Stormbreaker, Zeus's Thunderbolt, or Hercules' Mace, I don't see why Deadpool couldn't heal from these kinds of attacks as well. Heck, even if Thor tries to do what he did to Loki and just put Mjolnir on Deadpool so he couldn't move, Wade could just cut a hole in his chest and regrow it. I don't think strength is the way to take down an immortal super soldier either, but don't worry, there may be a way. Bronze and finesse may be useful against the likes of Thanos or Steve Rogers, but some opponents just require an intelligent workaround. How do you think Deadpool does when he matches wits with the brains of the MCU? Wade Wilson's no moron. Well, I mean, he's not what you'd call book smart, but he's got a level of street smarts and a quick wit, at least to the level where he's not totally brain dead. He could get ripped apart and heal back together all day, but solutions in dealing with Wade may come from the smartest minds of the MCU. With who's left, this means the likes of Shuri, Riri Williams, Peter Parker, Bruce Banner out of the Hulk form, or a robot brain like the newly realized Vision. There have been intelligent ways to defeat Deadpool before. For example, we actually almost witnessed the death of our favorite mercenary in Deadpool 2. Granted, he's probably a little harder to fight when he doesn't spend the majority of the film trying to die. However, in this process, we saw a device in the form of a collar that actually suppresses mutant abilities. While wearing this, Wade was nearly killed just by the cancer that began regrowing in his body, instead of constantly healing. A bullet to the heart nearly finished the job while wearing this collar until someone decided to go in reverse time. Which kind of makes you wonder, why didn't Cable just wait until Wade fell unconscious and take the collar off, instead of wasting his last time jump? Oh well, he proved that it's possible to kill Deadpool. The remaining inventors of the MCU could definitely come up with something similar to the power dampening collar. Shuri has come up with a lot more impressive inventions than that, and Riri Williams may soon prove to have even more inventing prowess than anybody. Shuri has figured out how to depower the likes of Namor, so finding people's weaknesses is kind of her thing, and now Riri seems to be taking right after. The new Vision may have already downloaded everything there is to know about mutation, Deadpool's procedure, and Wade Wilson himself. Vision has the capability to know more about him than even Wade himself. Obviously, Vision is overly powerful, and can probably match strength with anyone in the brute strength category. But it's his incredible analytical mind, and the fact that he's literally a machine that helps him logic his way out of problems. The only one who can match wits with Vision is Vision. Lastly, you have the triple threat, Peter Parker. But even Tony saw Peter's potential in terms of his intelligence. Tony Stark isn't around anymore, so Deadpool's biggest fight could be against his prodigy. Whether he invents a solution or uses his insane teen strength, Peter has been a foil to Wade Wilson in the comics for years. There have been times where Spider-Man wins, but Deadpool has his fair share of victories as well. Truthfully, Peter can have the speed, brains, and brawn, but at the end of the day, I would think this one is a battle of popularity. Perhaps a straight-up brawl or a contest of wits isn't the best way to take down Deadpool. Whatever their best moves are, Deadpool can likely heal from it, and come back with some double-bladed vengeance. Would you see any of these heroes so far actually be able to take down Wade Wilson? Personally, I don't. Even a power-dampening collar has to come off eventually. So who has that extra something, that special thing that could spell doom for Wade Wilson? Turns out there's quite a few. I'll tell you what the game changer could be. Magic. Doctor Strange, Wong, and the Scarlet Witch, who is definitely still alive, I don't care what you say, tend not to use their fists so much, but instead just extend their arms really powerfully at each other, and it probably looks really weird before the special effects are added. However, thanks to it, they are three of the most powerful magic users in the multiverse, and there has to be some spell out there that can circumvent Wade's healing ability. Mere guns and swords likely can't touch them, or they probably would have been taken down a long time ago. Plus, at this point, Doctor Strange could just get America Chavez to trap Deadpool in the dimension made entirely out of paint. You know, though, those are the obvious ones. There's some other characters who may just possess that something extra. Characters who can fight or use their mind, but just may have tapped into something supernatural that could take down an instantly healing martial artist with quite the mouth on him. Take Moon Knight, for example. Yeah, he mostly punches people, but being backed by the magic of Khonshu has given him the same sort of healing ability as Wade himself. Mark Spector takes full spears directly through the midsection and walks away okay, thanks to the Egyptian god of the moon. If Khonshu has the ability to give that power to someone, perhaps he could help Moon Knight overcome it in someone else. There's also Kamala Khan, whose newfound connection to another dimension may give her an unknown ability that renders Deadpool's healing useless. She's probably the most blank slate the MCU has, given the liberty that they seem to be taking with her powers. For all we know, she could come out with a Deadpool antidote power. I wouldn't put it past them. Loki is another dabbler in the mystic arts who currently comes nowhere close to the likes of the Sorcerer Supreme. Though if we take a look at an older version of him from another universe, he could just surprise you. He also currently has access to time knowledge that almost no other hero does. And yes, sorry Loki fans, the dude's a hero, whether you like it or not. If Bucky can assassinate people for decades and still be a hero, I think Loki is pretty redeemed. His new TVA connections combined with his newfound confidence in seeing his potential could give him an edge. That and the fact that other than Wade, Loki is probably the most mischievous character there is. Lastly, there's the secret weapon. Deadpool's perhaps greatest strength is his awareness. It supersedes cosmic awareness. Instead, Deadpool's ability to break the fourth wall potentially makes him more powerful than anyone, except the one person in the MCU who has shown proficiency in this already. She-Hulk, even though it was kind of a lazy joke, was able to rewrite the entire ending of her own show. With this power, she could defeat anyone. be it Thanos, Kang, or even Deadpool. Wade could theoretically do this too. She-Hulk can punch anyone's face in, but this battle may be won over whose fourth wall resources are better put to use. Supposedly, She-Hulk's access to Kevin has been turned off, but I assume Deadpool could still crawl all over the Disney Plus menu. There have been a lot of good points brought up, and it looks like Deadpool might actually have his hands full with some of these heroes, don't you think? Wrong. Fool. How could you think anyone could beat Deadpool? Forget your facts. Throw logic out the window. The thing is, if Deadpool fought the Avengers, he's beating everyone. Don't believe me? Look no further than the comics. Specifically, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. In this story, Wade Wilson takes on literally everyone. He goes from hero to hero and villain to villain and kills them all. Even the unkillable ones. He forces Taskmaster to kill himself with his own sword by copying Wade. He kills Wolverine by exploiting the fact that his immortality comes from his popularity, not his healing. Wade goes on this universe-wide killing spree because he finally officially realizes he is in a comic book. And it ends with him killing the most powerful people in the Marvel Universe. The very people who create it. He enters the real world and kills the people writing him into existence. So you see, dampening collars, godly strength, magic beyond all comprehension, none of it matters. Deadpool beats everyone. Do you think the MCU will have different plans for when Deadpool takes on the Avengers? Or will he still be cracking wise when it's all said and done?
Subscribe, like this video. Great day and night. See you guys. Bye.